Hi everyone, this is Rachel with the CCL, and I'm excited to continue our fellowships advising videos for this summer to talk to you about getting feedback on your drafts for your applications. So today we're going to go into my bag and talk about why all writers need readers and why you should come to us as one of your readers during your application process. So I know when I say let's get feedback on your drafts, even bring up writing drafts. We can all bring a lot of baggage. You might have a lot of feelings, maybe some feelings of vulnerability, maybe some feelings of anxiety, maybe some feelings of excitement to see how am I doing. We recognize that it is a very vulnerable process to share your writing with others, and we're here to be supportive wherever you're at in your feelings about writing. Some other things that you might be thinking about, the baggage you might be bringing to the writing process and the feedback process, is some worries about what I call the judgy red pen. So maybe you didn't have red pens in your school. I did. And sometimes it was really scary to get a draft back with all of this red ink all over it, thinking, oh, I didn't do anything right. It's just full of red ink. So luckily we don't use red pens, so we don't need to be afraid of red ink in this process. Instead, what we'll bring to the feedback process are usually a lot of questions. Things like, can you tell me more about that? This is really interesting. Or have you thought about the way this experience might connect to this other experience? Could you maybe talk more about those connections? A final piece of baggage you might be bringing to the writing process is something that I face, which is the fear of the blank page. Where do I even start? So it can feel really intimidating, this blank page that has a huge opportunity associated with it. But feedback doesn't have to come only when there's writing on the page. We're going to talk a little bit more about when you can get feedback, but don't worry, the blank page is not a barrier to working with us to support you through your drafting journey. So earlier I mentioned that all writers need readers and that you should come to us for feedback, but at what point should you come for feedback? And I mentioned also that I would talk a little bit about the writing process. So I think some myths to debunk. A lot of folks think that the writing process looks something like this, that it starts with brainstorming, and then you go into the drafting phase, then you go into revising, editing, finally to your submission. And each of these as a distinct phase. So in reality, writing looks a lot more like this. As you can see, there are no straight lines here. There are a lot of arrows going back and forth between different sections, and you're gonna go bounce between places as needed as your writing unfolds. So then if writing is not linear, it's all this kind of messy, circular, iterative process, where can you get feedback? You get feedback from us at any stage in all of this process. Something I do want to add is that at no point do we expect you to have a perfect draft before you come talk to us or receive feedback. Writing is messy, like I showed you in that process, and sometimes it takes a few tries to really get clear on what you want to say and how you want to say it. So don't worry about perfection. Come talk to us when you're ready to get a second set of eyes and a new perspective on your writing. So I've talked a little bit about when you should get feedback and what you might be bringing to the process, but why should you get feedback? Here are 5 reasons why you should get feedback from us during your drafting and application preparation process. Number 1, we can help you identify whether you're approaching the application effectively. Each fellowship might have some overlap in the types of questions that they might be asking, especially if you're going for fellowships that have similarities in the types of opportunities that they're funding. But sometimes fellowships have totally different definitions of what they're looking for. So What we bring to the table is expertise on each fellowship's criteria and the ability to kind of view your writing through the lens of those criteria. Number 2, one of the challenges of fellowships applications is that they have very specific word count requirements. So we can help you tell your story within the confines of the application through those word counts. Number 3, we can identify patterns in your writing. Maybe there's a repetitive word or an idea that you've already explained in one section that you don't need to explain in another section. Part of our job is to help you identify patterns that are working well for you and some that might not be working so well, so that you can make revisions strategically and effectively. Number 4, like I said earlier, we have been working with these fellowships for a long time, and so we really know the selection criteria. On the flip side, we might not be experts in your field. So getting a variety of feedback, both from folks who know a lot and can tell you if something's accurate, and also folks who are not immersed in the jargon of your research, is going to be important so that you can be speaking most effectively to the type of audience you're writing to through your fellowship application. And number 5, possibly the one most students don't recognize, is that by coming to us for feedback on your drafts, you're making the CCL advisors a part of your fellowship's network. So what do I mean by that? We are not just advisors for the one fellowship that you are applying for. We advise for all kinds of fellowships, even fellowships that don't require a Rice nomination. So when we're working with you, when we're getting to know you through your writing, we're also getting to know your goals, your values, what motivates you, so we can help identify potentially some other opportunities that you might be interested by but didn't know about before. So how do you actually get the feedback? Well, there's a lot of different ways you can work with us. We can talk with you during our advising hours or during individual appointments. So find the link here for our advising hours. The other place that you can get feedback is through our Fellowships Canvas page, where you can submit your drafts in the assignments portal, and you'll get feedback from us usually within 1 or 2 business days. So, what should be in your bag this summer? The Fellowships Canvas page and advising hours. We're here to support you throughout your whole fellowships journey. Good luck!